We are dedicated to bringing you up-to-the-minute and relevant news in local and international maritime trade. This is Nimasa This Week. Hello and welcome. My name is Iretiola Doyle. Now this week, we start the show on an extremely high note, what with the appointment of a Nigerian as the first vice president of the International Maritime Organization, IMO. Senator Dalhatu Tafida, who is also Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, was popularly elected as the first vice president to the Global Maritime Organization with over 170 member states present. Here's that report for you now.
Nigeria has clinched the first vice president position of the 28th Assembly of the International Maritime Organization, IMO. The country was elected into the position at the biennial conference of the Global Maritime Body at the headquarters of the organization in London. The Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Senator Dalhatu Tafida, was popularly elected as the first vice president of the assembly, which comprises of 170 member nations. Immediately after the appointment of His Excellency, Senator Dalhatu Tafida, as the first vice president of the IMO, the obviously elated Senator Idris Omar, while addressing a press conference in London, reiterated the significance of such a great honor being bestowed on Nigeria.
This is a great moment for us in Nigeria because this is the first time a Nigerian, and indeed even from this West and Central Africa sub-region, we're having a citizen being elected to occupy this exalted position in this organization. And therefore this is a very big achievement for Nigeria, what Nigerians should all be proud of, and we're indeed very grateful to the heads of the delegation and the General Assembly for this great feat.
The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akobolo-Kemi, remarked that Nigeria's election to the exalted office was indeed a vote of confidence in Nigeria by the international community. Nimasa's Executive Director on Finance and Administration, Haruna Baba Jauru, who was part of Nimasa's delegate to the IMO's 28th Assembly in London, stated that the appointment of Senator Tafida is the beginning of better things to come to Nigeria.
It happened the way we are expecting it, and we're happy it went the way it did. We are looking forward for a meaningful deliberation, even as the days go by. And so far, from the beginning, we can see that things are going to be good for all of us, especially with the election of the permanent rep, Dr. Dalhatu Tafida, as the first vice president. You know, it's a good honor for us, it's a good beginning for us, telling us that we're going higher.
The IMO Assembly is the highest governing body of the organization and is responsible for approving the work program, budgets, and financial expenditure of the organization, in addition to electing the members of the IMO 40-member council.
Once again, Nimasa is blazing the trail in promoting the vast potentials that exist within our local maritime industry. This time in faraway Philippines, the agency put together a forum to attract potential investors to Nigeria. Our cameras were there and we caught clips of this A-list event that took place at a prestigious venue in downtown Manila in the Philippines.
The House Committee on Marine Transport, alongside some key officials from Nimasa, recently embarked on a working visit to the Philippines to evaluate the educational facilities available in the various institutions where the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program beneficiaries are undergoing maritime training. The fact-finding mission was exhaustive and in-depth as the visiting lawmakers moved from one province to another, assessing the educational facilities on ground at the various universities collaborating with Nimasa. In accord with diplomatic dictates, the House Committee on Marine Transport, despite their busy schedule, found time for a visit to the Nigerian Embassy in Manila. The Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Dr. Akinyemi Farambi, was personally on hand to welcome them. Unknown by many, a long line of trade history exists between Nigeria and the Philippines. The ambassador, while giving his welcome address, made this revelation.
The Lekki port is being built by a Filipino company. It's being built by International Container Terminal Services Incorporated. There is Splash Corporation. In 2006, they moved into Nigeria. Last year, they spent 1 billion peso. 1 billion peso will really be between 3.7 billion naira to 4 billion. There is Edmark. So maybe you've taken Edmark coffee before. They started here. They make 60% of their entire revenue from Nigeria.
This was to set the tone for the formal investment forum that took place later in the evening. In line with the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and the vision of the Acidos DG of Nimasa, Ziakede Patrick Akpobulokemi, to make Nigeria a major maritime nation, Nimasa has always been in the vanguard to promote the vast potentials that exist in the maritime sector to the international community. This is driven through the series of investment fora put together by the agency. Nimasa, in collaboration with the Nigerian Embassy in the Philippines, put together one of such fora at a business dinner organized specifically for major maritime stakeholders in that country. The A-list event took place at the prestigious Makati Shangri-La Hotel in Manila and attracted prominent business moguls, maritime professionals, head of mission, and an array of guests from the diplomatic community. The ambassador in his address thanked Nimasa for initiating the NSDP program and elaborated on the insatiable thirst for education by Nigerians. Speaking further, Dr. Akinyemi Farambi briefed the gathering on the efforts by some educational entrepreneurs to establish maritime school in Nigeria.
I also want to thank the universities that have been very, very gracious to us. PIMSTAT is there. He and I have an agreement, and he's going to take PIMSTAT to Nigeria. He has said I should announce it publicly here that I'll be a PIMSTAT college in Nigeria. Just as by the courtesy of the assistance of DFA, Amma International University is in Nigeria. Tomorrow they'll be holding a meeting with the National University Commission of Nigeria, and that will be their second meeting. They already have a temporary campus, and they already acquired land for the permanent campus.
Honorable James Falike, leader of the delegation of the House Committee on Marine Transport to the Philippines, urged the international community to take advantage of the various business opportunities that abound in the country.
Nigeria is a very beautiful place. You can also come there, create time to come to Nigeria and mix with us, and then you see that Nigeria is full of investment opportunities. It's not only in education, in all other areas. We have so much mineral resources that can be tapped. We have so much agricultural products that you might not have here in the Philippines. And so we'll have opportunity to exchange products and exchange ideas. Of course, the essence of diplomatic mission, of course, is to bring cooperation between the two countries. And we are glad that our ambassador has been doing this and has improved the relationship and the business relationship within the two countries. Ours is to, as national members of National Assembly, is to ensure that we create an enabling environment. I want to assure you, the investors, that Nigeria will be home to all of you. Whatever laws that are in place that are not in tune with what you want to achieve, we are ready to amend those laws to make it happen.
Nimasa Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Barrister Callisto Subi, delivered a PowerPoint presentation titled Investment Opportunities in the Nigerian Maritime Industry. In his paper, Barrister Callisto Subi dwelled on the various areas where investors can tap into the developing but thriving maritime sector in Nigeria.
Our country is predominantly a mono economy centered on oil and gas. A lot revolves around it. So within our coastal area, there's a whole lot of businesses that you can do, and you'll be sure that you have return on your investment. Shipbuilding and repair, this is an area we will request you to take advantage of. Here we have a debt of shipping building facilities, shipbuilding facilities and repairs. The maritime sector remains the most lucrative, but it's largely unexplored. So I call on you to come, do your inquiries. We're here as an agency to help you to come in. If you want to ask for information that will help you to do your businesses, Nimasa is there. Various other Nigerian investment bodies also there. Go look for those who can give you information that is useful.
Nimasa Director of Servicom, Sani Mohammed, rounded up proceedings with a vote of thanks.
On behalf of the management of Nimasa and the Director General, I wish to sincerely thank the academic community who have graciously accepted our candidates who are currently studying in 3 of the universities here in the Philippines. And last but not the least, our boss is just like what the ambassador has said. The Nigerian congressmen, because here they call them congressmen, not legislators. We wish to sincerely thank you for coming for this oversight function. We are truly happy about what you have come to see, what we have been reporting to you. You know you are now being placed in a better position to appreciate whatever we are coming before you when the time comes. Once again, on behalf of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, I sincerely thank everybody that is here this night.
Nimasa this week took up one of the investors about his plans to site a maritime school in Nigeria.
I am just talking to some people in Nigeria, like the ambassador here in the Philippines, and we are entertaining an idea that we will be putting up a maritime school in Nigeria using the Philippine standard, using the Philippine curriculum, using the Filipino faculty members, as well as the facilities. And all these things will be brought in Nigeria. And I hope that our discussions will become productive and eventually will result into the establishment of a maritime college in Nigeria using the Philippine standard.
With the measures and policies put in place by Nimasa, the dream of building up capacity of accelerated shipping development and economic growth within the maritime sector will soon become a reality. Marine notice to shipping companies, terminal and jetty operators, port facility owners, IOCs, maritime stakeholders. Secure anchorage area. Pursuant to the agency's regulatory mandate and responsibility over safety of ships navigation and security of offshore facilities in Nigerian waters, notice is hereby given as follows. That secure anchorage area SAA exists offshore Lagos with center point at longitude 06 degree 1730 and latitude 003 degree 1200. The SAA, which is spherical in shape, is located at about 10 nm southwest of the fairway buoy, expanding to 5 nm in diameter. That the SAA is authorized by the Nigerian Navy and operated by Ocean Maritime Security Limited in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy. It serves as an additional security service for provision of dedicated 24/7 watch to vessels seeking extra protection while at anchorage offshore Lagos. Mariners and ship owners are hereby advised to note this occurrence and proceed with caution when navigating within the bonded area. For further information or clarification, please contact Director Maritime Safety via email vincent.udoye@nimasa.gov.ng on phone number 0803 308 3703. Signed, Management.
The Eastern Zone of Nimasa organized a one-day interactive forum on the implementation of the Marine Environment Management Regulations 52 and 53 on sea protection levy and offshore waste facilities. This forum was organized for maritime stakeholders mainly to educate them about the sea protection levy. Our field correspondent, Chukwudi Ogana, has the report.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, organized a one-day forum on the implementation of Marine Environment Management Regulations 52 and 53. The event also had as its objective the need for regular users of the marine environment in Nigeria to pay the protection levies as stipulated in the laws regulating the maritime industry. It was hosted by the Eastern Zone of Nimasa in the River State capital, Port Harcourt. The zonal coordinator of the agency, Mr. Tony Ogali, in his welcome address to the audience, said that Nimasa has the responsibility of implementing all the instruments of the International Maritime Organization.
Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, which is the apex regulatory maritime administration in the country, is statutorily mandated to implement all the instruments of the International Maritime Organization, that's the IMO, to ensure safety, security, and protection of marine environments in line with international best practices.
Nimasa's Executive Director, Maritime Safety and Shipping Development, Captain Bala Agaba, who was represented by the Commander, Maritime Guard Command, Navy Captain Aneke, expressed Nigeria's commitment towards ensuring a cleaner marine environment. He was also confident that the meeting would strengthen cooperation between the government of Nigeria and stakeholders in the maritime industry to achieve the objective.
As a signatory to the convention, Nigeria is committed to ensuring cleaner oceans as well as preserving local maritime resources. It is on this ground that regulations on marine environment management, sea protection levy, and the merchant shipping ship-generated marine waste reception facilities were gazetted in 2012. It is noteworthy that the regulations also made provisions for installations that produce, process, store, or transfer oil and installations used or constructed for the purpose of exploring oil.
In implementing the provisions of the Marine Pollution Convention, of which Nigeria is a signatory, the agency meets with challenges. The Acting Director, Marine Environment Management, Mr. Moses Adewale, lists some of them.
The country has witnessed marine pollution incidences primarily from anthropogenic sources through shipping and oil gas exploration. Gather shift of oil and gas exploration to deep sea, including Nigeria and Israel, owing to greater oil prospects. Minima and haphazard monitoring of pollutants within the Nigerian territorial waters and voluntary incidents of reporting. Real-time conditions of our offshore oil and gas facilities and installation cannot be ascertained.
The Managing Director of Joint Marine Environment Guard Limited, Engineer Simon Rickaby, enlightened the audience on the facilities used for monitoring compliance.
At the moment, we have EMRV. You ought to be very proud for Nigeria. You have the first one in Africa, the Environmental Monitoring and Response Vessel. It's a dedicated vessel, monitoring the environment that's out there, but also able to respond. And the potential polluter is paying for it, so the vessel's out there, able to respond if there is a pollution, but also at the same time to take away the MARPOL garbage, which people could be tempted to throw over the side into the oceans, and what happens? It's another form of pollution. So she's out there being able to monitor and respond to reduce the risk of pollution, and if there is, then it can respond to pollution.
Maritime lawyer Barrister Emeka Akabogu took the maritime stakeholders on the legality of the sea protection levy.
People typically are very, very reluctant when it comes to having to pay additional monies as far as the operations are concerned. So they need to see that the fees which they're paying are fees which are valid, are fees which are justified in terms of the operations. So my role is to give you the legal background to these very regulations which require that additional fees be paid in respect of some of the operations which your organizations undertake.
The Deputy Director, Marine Environment Management, Susan Asagwara, entertained some questions from newsmen regarding the objective of the forum.
Since the regulations came out last year, 2012, stakeholders need to know about them so that they'll be able to comply with the requirements of the regulations. That's the essence of the stakeholders meeting, to carry them along so that implementation will be easy.
The one-day event is another milestone in the quest by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, to ensure a cleaner marine environment through the payment of protection levies by stakeholders.
Up next is the news segment of Nimasa This Week.
The administration of Nigeria's apex maritime regulatory authority, Nimasa, held yet another send-forth party for two of its retiring directors who voluntarily retired from service in the agency. The two directors are Barrister Oyin Oniri Ojiji from the Procurement Department in Nimasa and Mrs. Mayanobi from the Legal Department in Nimasa. The event took place at the Rockview Hotel in Apapa, Lagos. In attendance were top management staff of the agency, colleagues of the celebrants, friends and families who came from far and wide to celebrate with the retiring directors. The directors had over the last 20 years served the agency meritoriously and have contributed positively to the lives of individuals of the agency. When asked about memories during their service years, this is what they had to say.
Nimasa is a continuous learning point, that kind of. But particularly, it's a place, the civil service is a teacher. It teaches you to be disciplined. It teaches you to think of choices. It teaches you to also prepare for the future.
Yeah, Nimasa is a good place to work in. I had a good working relationship with lots of people in Nimasa, with the management. I worked well with the Director Generals, and it's a good place to be, a good place to work.
With so much excitement, the retirees danced gracefully with their colleagues, which signified total fulfillment during their stay in Nimasa. We would recall that the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has over the couple of months sent forth some of its directors who retired voluntarily. The voluntary retirement scheme is part of Nimasa's condition of service, which is found in Section 7 and Subsection 10 of the agency's condition of service, which states that management from time to time can revoke the scheme and allow staff who have between 2 to 5 years to retire from service to do so to benefit from the retirement scheme. Nimasa this week had a quick chat with the retiring directors, who then spoke to us about some of the challenges faced during their service years and didn't relent in giving some parting words to colleagues who they are leaving behind.
The first challenge will be learning the ropes. Yeah, you have to learn the ropes. And when you are learning the ropes, if you are somebody who wants to know, who wants to succeed in holding a department, running a department, you learn even from the cleaner. From the clerk, you don't discriminate. You, the young ones, one day you also become managers. Because I'm going out as a manager, as director. I headed a lot of units at the department. One day you you head a unit or department. The only thing I would advise, I'll repeat again, is please don't underrate or discriminate against any of your staff, any of your subordinates.
It was challenging in the sense that there was no structure the time I went, but we were able to put some structure in place and put certain things in order. Another place I worked was general services. Here was a lawyer coming to handle technical things. So it was challenging also. I had to rely on the competence of the people there, and I had a good team to work with and be successful. They should hold forth that which is good. They should take their work seriously and do what they need to do at the right time, and try to mentor the younger ones, put them through, and so that we have a succession plan put in place, so that when they leave, the other people coming at the back will still keep the agency going because it must go on.
We do wish them all the best as they exit from the public sector into the private sector.
And so we come to the end of this week's edition. As always, we hope we kept you educated and informed. Now, if there's anything you want to know, any more information you require, all you need to do is to send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now, please don't forget, Nimasa This Week is an interactive show. We want to hear what you're thinking. Now, I'm going to be here, same time, same station next week. Until then, as always, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.